I want to introduce my very special guest. I am beyond appreciative of her coming on. This is my patient, Araan. And many of you have seen her testimonial. I posted it on my page. I posted it in the Attuned Thyroid, where she just tells it like it is and the struggle she went through and how she's feeling now. And we have gotten tremendous results with her. In fact, so tremendous that I am currently working with a colleague of mine to write up a case report on her case alone. No names will be used when this is published, but this is meant to be published for medical professionals. And actually, we're going to target journals that go out to general practitioners and PCPs, because this is the information that they need to hear on patients and how remarkable T3 therapy can be when optimizing a person's thyroid, and how it can change their life and change the quality of their life when someone is properly diagnosed. And we're going to get into Araan's journey, which is a very frustrating one. Many of you are on the same journey as well and still frustrated. So we're going to get into her journey and what she went through and what we ultimately did with her to optimize her and where she is right now. So I'm going to be asking a lot of questions of Araan in just a minute. But first, I want to read something that she wrote. This is not her testimonial. This is actually a piece that she wrote for the case study that I am writing with my colleague that will be published. I will definitely let you know when it is. And this is what she says. And then, Araan, I'm going to turn it over to you and ask you a bunch of questions. So this is going to be a game changer for you. And you can probably hear the excitement in my voice. The latest introduction, the latest member of the family to the Fixxr line is Metabolism Fixxr. And this, oh my God, I formulated this just for all my people out there that need to lose weight, that need help in the weight loss department, that can't lose weight no matter what they do, that feel like they have a slow metabolism, and that might be thinking of trying all those peptides out there, you know, the Beverly Hills soccer mom drug of choice for weight loss peptides. Or even if you're on them already and you're like, man, these are really expensive and I'm still not losing weight, add in Metabolism Fixxr. Here's what I did. I took the power of T2, which increases your basal metabolic rate while you are sitting there watching Netflix. You're burning fat while you're watching Netflix. I combined it with a very unique patented ingredient called Suppressa. Suppressa has multiple clinical trials backing its efficacy in reducing your appetite, decreasing snacking, and providing way more control over your food intake. It is amazing. We also see improved emotional well-being, just decreased food cravings all around, reduced hunger, and weight management. Add on top of that, we have green tea extract, we have purple forest purple tea extract, both of which affect the metabolism in a very positive way without the jitters of normal fat burning supplements out there from the 1980s and 90s, right? The ones that made you feel like you're having a heart attack. You will not have that in any of my supplements, Thyroid Fixxr or Metabolism Fixxr. But Metabolism Fixxr, ooh, yeah, we kicked it up a notch. It is in powder form, so you can drink it through your day. It's going to flavor your water. We got orange crush and refreshing citrus. I love them both. It is going to keep you under control all day long. So you throw a couple scoops in your water bottle in the morning, throw a scoop or two in your water bottle throughout the day. You will have fat burning and appetite control the entire day for what? An eighth of a price of the peptides? Oh my God, you can't go wrong. So grab some Metabolism Fixxr today. Please let me know how you do on it. I am super excited for you. Super excited. I had an overwhelming feeling of helplessness. I knew I was doing all I could to maintain my weight. I was eating healthy, watching my caloric intake, working out, but nothing seemed to matter. I was gaining weight by the week. I was beginning to not recognize myself in the mirror. I know many of you can definitely relate to that. Definitely relates. Size 2s turned into 4s, size 4s turned into 6s, and so on. My skin looked dry. My hair was thinning. My nails were breaking. I barely had any energy. I could have stayed in bed all day long if it weren't for my husband and children. So that's the first part of what you wrote. So Araan, first, thank you for coming on. I know you've had dramatic changes and we're still going. We're still making changes with you. But can you kind of tell people that are listening and that can absolutely relate to your story, take them from the beginning when you were first diagnosed and then not medicated and then a little bit medicated and then you were crying in your doctor's office. Let's just hear your story.
So some of you may or may not have started the journey like I did. About 19 years ago, I was diagnosed with a goiter on the left side of my thyroid. And I was young, scared. My parents lived in a different state. I went to get a couple different opinions and basically was given the radioactive iodine choice or surgery choice. And so we felt with the goiter being as large as it was, being as young as I was, at the time I was in my early 20s, go ahead, get it removed, let's start over. Didn't even think about the ramifications of now I was going to be living with half a thyroid. Luckily for me, for about 7 or 8 years, it didn't affect me. I was a young mom at this stage, and I noticed my energy levels were dwindling. I didn't feel well. So then that was kind of my first little journey, I would say, to the endocrinologist. Something's wrong. And they said, oh, well, of course something's wrong. You're missing half your thyroid. You need to take Synthroid. And, it was really that black and that white. There was really no test in between. I've read and researched and learned so much now just through the social media groups and through Amie and other specialists. I would have never done those things that I did if I would have known any better. So off I go with Synthroid, and I would go back every year because that's what they told me to do. And I'd have my blood work done and I was fine. And if I was getting a little sluggish at times, they would send me with a little more Synthroid. I moved from Northeast Florida to about 45 minutes south of there. So I ended up with a new doctor. He said, oh, you're feeling a little sluggish, you're tired. So the only thing that my journey ever brought along was I had one doctor add for me a very low dose of Cytomel. And he was so afraid of taking the Cytomel, he really only wanted me to do it every other day. Okay. So I'll let Amie pick up here, but if you can imagine, I'm on a high dose of Synthroid and a low dose of Cytomel. And I would say from the age of 35 to 40, instead of getting better with age, felt like I was dying. So that brings me to where I came in my journey with you.
Yeah. And that statement that you just said, that you felt like you were dying, I think so many people are there or have been there because you literally don't understand what's going on with you. And you're on medication, you're given medication, and the doctors say like, hey, it's your thyroid, here's some meds. And so you automatically think, well, then this is going to make me better. And I remember back in the start of my journey, before I got into this at all, and this is why I got into functional medicine and specializing in the thyroid, because I was given Synthroid as well. And I thought, when you're first given the medication, you're like, yes, there's a reason why I gained 20 pounds. There's a reason why I have moon face. There's a reason why I'm tired. And you're so hopeful that Synthroid's going to work. And then you're let down. So you just basically think that you're dying. Now remind me, Araan, you were started on like 5 micrograms of Cytomel, right?
Not even.
It was like 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
And that's all I was ever given. In fact, I'm in Northeast Florida, and I won't say any doctors' names, but it took me a very long time to get into the Mayo Clinic, which a lot of you may have heard of the Mayo Clinic, or if you're up north, you've got the Cleveland Clinic or Johns Hopkins. Where I am, getting into the Mayo Clinic is supposed to be like liquid gold. And believe it or not, my first appointment with my new practitioner, she told me that I was going to have a heart attack if I continued to take Cytomel. So I was scared to stop it. So I didn't tell her I was going to stop it, but I certainly wasn't going to get it increased. I knew that right away.
Yeah. No, yeah. So you knew you were stuck. So you were given just enough T3 for your pinky, but they kept increasing your T4 and never checking your reverse T3. That,
anything checked but my TSH, T3, T4, but no reverse anything. In fact, just recently I was going through my labs for you, and I was very disgusted looking back. Shame on me for my ignorance, but you get busy with life and children, and you're going to the doctor and you're sitting there telling them what's wrong, and you believe you're leaving with the answer. Not so.
It's not your job. No, not shame on you for ignorance. It's not your job to know your health and your thyroid and the labs inside and out. It's not your job to. It is the responsibility of the practitioner to listen to you as a patient and say, if this person is telling me that they feel this, and this, then geez, maybe I'm not doing something right. Maybe there's more testing that can be done to check the whole health of the thyroid. It's not on you. It's not on any patient. I mean, it's great to be educated and be your own patient advocate, but when you're just starting out, there is no way you can know what to ask for and what to look for and what it even means. That's not on you. But this is the journey that many people take. And you're right. I've seen people go to Cleveland Clinic, Mayo, Johns Hopkins, come to me with a book of labs of everything done except a complete full thyroid panel where we're looking at free T3, which is the active thyroid hormone. We're looking at reverse T3 to see if that T4 that they're giving you is converting over to T3 or is it converting to reverse. Now, it turns out for you, when we tested your reverse, it was high. You were having conversion issues. You were on too much T4, not enough at all for anybody of T3.
Well, so fast forward, how I got to you was complete desperation, truly. I really didn't care to get out of bed in the morning. I am a person that was running 5Ks, going to the gym at least a couple days a week. Really, other than the carbohydrates that I thought were healthy carbohydrates like wraps or gluten-free toast or, little things, I was pretty much eating ketogenic paleo because I don't eat sugar. Sure, I enjoy life and have a glass of wine or something with my husband, but not a daily occurrence. So overall, I was convinced that my health, that I was truly dying because I lost my energy going for a run. My feet felt heavy. My legs felt heavy. My back hurt. My energy was gone. Like my husband, I used to be the first up in the morning and the last to bed. And my husband would get up in the morning. And I remember I was like, please just let me get out of this bed. Like I didn't even want to get up. So that was one issue. Well, many, obviously. And then my appearance. I mean, I don't know what you all can see on Zoom or wherever we are. So forgive me because I'm backwards and my hair's flipped around. However, I didn't have this much hair. My hair was falling out. My skin was all crepey. So on top of having no energy, I became depressed looking in the mirror. And so for me, it was like, I didn't want to accept that per se, but I was lost. I felt helpless. I didn't know what to do. Actually, my first stop, I went to my OBGYN and she was convinced that maybe I was going into menopause. Did some tests, walked back in her office. Oh no, you're good to go. Have a great day. Okay. So then I go back to my practitioner and this is right before I came to Amie. I sat in the office and I literally, this is embarrassing to tell you all, but it's worth sharing the story. I literally within 6 to 8 months gained close to 30 pounds. I was looking for clothes to hide in. I didn't want to go anywhere. Didn't feel good about myself. So I'm now in the doctor's office. I did the MyFitnessPal. I tracked my calories. Yep. I did little fasting things. I did juice cleanses. You name it. If I had control of it, I tried it. So I go back to the doctor's office. I remember pleading with her. I remember saying, please test me for everything. I'm dying. Test me for everything. I can't even run 3 miles anymore. And I used to run 10 miles. Like, test me for everything. She supposedly tested me for everything. And here I go again. She tells me, now, mind you, I've been there 2 other times within the past 6 to 8 months because I feel terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So she upped my Synthroid the first time. She upped my Synthroid the second time. She told me that I was getting older, that my thyroid was changing again, and that for sure this next dose would be great. Well, I remember crying. That's because I told Amie that story. I'm not really a crybaby. I've got 4 teenage daughters. It takes a lot to rattle me. But I remember I said, this can't be the answer. Like, you have to have some diet pill or magic pill, or like, in my mind, I was rationalizing with myself that there was no possible way, if I was going to take more Synthroid for the third, like 6 months later, that I was going to magically get thinner because I was getting heavier. So I left. I took the prescription that she gave me and I left. And that's when I started looking for answers, researching, deciding that this was going to be about me. And I found Amie. Literally within one conversation, you said to me, everything you're saying to me is not new. I've heard this. And you actually were finishing my sentences, like helping me, like, you feel, and I was like, yes. And I use this all the time with some of my girlfriends. I literally felt like eating food. It was like that bird that eats berries off a tree. My face would just, it was, now, mind you, also, I'm being honest, I still have about 15 pounds to go to feel like myself. So I see it, whether someone else sees it. I definitely don't feel like, oh, I'm right back to where I want to be, but I've only been on this journey for about 3.5 months.
Right. Stop right there, because you said a couple things that I want to touch on. First of all, crying in your car, or crying in the doctor's office or in your car. I would say 99% of everybody watching and listening to this has been there, because you reach that point of frustration where you really just want an answer. You want somebody to tell you, this is what's wrong and this is how we're going to fix it. And when you get the normal, and when you get, oh, you're good to go, nothing's wrong, go on your merry way, it's the most frustrating thing that you can possibly hear when you're suffering with symptoms. And especially when you don't feel like yourself, when you are at the point where you feel like you're dying. And I want to touch on that too. When you said you feel like you're dying, that's not far off. I mean, can we ultimately kill ourselves without enough T3 or thyroid hormone? Yes, that takes a while. In the process of getting to that point, we have to remember that the thyroid gland is the master. It's controlling everything. So yes, you're going to get to that point where your ATP production is done. You are no longer producing energy. Your cells are dead. That's where, the body basically says, listen, we need you to survive. And there's not enough thyroid hormone to do so right now. So we're going to prioritize. We're going to keep your heart beating. You might not be able to run or walk or get out of your bed, but we're going to keep your heart beating. We're going to keep your liver and kidneys functioning as best we can. We're going to slow down digestion. We're going to slow down your metabolism. Screw your hair growth. You certainly don't need that. You don't need to be burning fat right now. You need to survive. Now, add on top of that, increasing your T4, that's just adding fuel to the feeling like you're dying fire, because now your reverse T3 goes up. And I always talk about reverse T3 is the survival mechanism for when we are ill or injured or sick or in the ICU. So your reverse T3 being high is basically giving, I guess, a feedback loop to the body that's already saying, we need you to survive. And reverse T3 says, hell yeah, we need her to survive. Shut down that metabolism. Don't grow her. What do you think? Don't grow her hair. She doesn't need good skin right now. And she certainly doesn't need to get out of bed. She can lay in bed and survive, because we're going to keep your heart beating. And that's you're not that far off when you say that you felt like you were dying because you were in a state of not enough thyroid hormone, way too much reverse T3, and just gasoline on that fire over and over again. And you had insulin resistance that nobody told you that you had. So of course you're going to be putting on weight.
Well, that's interesting as well, because here I was with all these labs when you and I, after our initial consult, had our real first appointment. You asked me what I was doing about my insulin resistance. And I said, what did you say? And here I had years, because I've been a patient of the Mayo Clinic, I think it's since 2015. I've had years of labs where I was like right on the marker. So I guess they didn't say anything, but no wonder I was blowing up. I mean, when I say blowing up, I mean, you get on the scale every other Sunday or every Sunday, and it was going up. There was no going down.
Yeah.
It was going up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a spiral out of control. I mean, you and I have talked about, and I have looked for those pictures, but I think they're at my dad's house in some album. I will find my moon face picture. I will find it because I was there. I mean, your weight starts going up, but then your face, like you said about the birds eating the berries, your face just goes like this. I mean, it just gets.
Well, I have pretty big cheeks to begin with. So can you imagine what I look like?
Now, the big cheeks right now are youthful. So you want to keep those. We just don't want to go like round and out this way.
Well, it was going every way. I mean, it was coming under here. It was very bad. That's all I can say. So that's the interesting thing, because when you and I talked and went over all my labs, immediately you picked up on that I was overdosed on Synthroid and underdosed on Cytomel. So overdosed on T4, underdosed on T3.
Right.
I will say this for anyone listening, because I've actually had a few people call me and message me prior to now that I've talked to. I was very apprehensive and very scared to just all of a sudden make that flip switch of the medication. But I knew what I was doing wasn't working, and I didn't want to continue to do that. And I had such faith in Amie going over everything. Literally that night, I switched everything. And it's been a little over 3.5 months, I've gotten rid of almost 20 pounds. My energy level, I could run again. That's exciting. I don't want to, but I will.
Right, yeah.
I'm exercising 3 days a week with pretty darn almost back to where I was weights. I mean, I can tell you I was to the point that 3 and 5 pound dumbbells was a chore. I'm back to my 15, 20, 25s, and I have energy. So
yeah,
it's working. I truly, when you say they were just keeping me alive, I believe that, because I really felt like I was dying.
Yeah, definitely. And this is why I want to use your case, why I am using your case, because PCPs, general practitioners, they are the first ones to see you. You know, no one sits there and says, you know what, I'm gaining weight and I'm tired, I better go see an endocrinologist, which is a pointless move anyways, but 9 times out of 10. But normally we all go to our PCP first, our general practitioner first, and we say, hey, this is what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I need some help here. And so this is who needs to get your information, your case, to say when a patient presents like this, you get out of your medical textbook, get out of what you learned in med school. Do not put them just on T4. And if you do, and they come back and they're heavier and they're worse, then think about the other medications that are out there, because there are. And I always say, listen, if you're depressed and you go to your doctor, I guarantee you get the Band-Aid antidepressant. If that one doesn't work, you'll get another one. If that one doesn't work, you'll get another one. And then we'll tie on a third, and we'll give you an anti-anxiety too. But they don't go outside of their Synthroid box for thyroid medication. So if this information is for those general practitioners, those PCPs who get patients like you first through the door, to say, hey, maybe you can help before they suffer. Maybe you can help before they have to go to an endocrinologist who really only specializes in diabetes. And And I think this information is vital because practitioners have the chance to save lives before it gets to that point. If it does get to that point, and ironically, Araan, I just made a video today that'll be released this week as a video and a podcast. And I say, when patients come to me, they're at the end of the rope.
Yes.
They're at the very end of the rope.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of where I catch you and make the turn.
Too much information, but August 1st was my 45th birthday. And it was that night. I remember I reached out to you on Messenger and I said, I am a 35-year-old hot mess in Florida. And if you can help me, you will be my saving grace. Yep. I don't know if it was the words that I used that you were like, I've got you. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a challenge because I could go through my symptoms. It's not just the basic ones, but I felt so bad. That's all from depression to anxiety, from the weight gain, it was such a trickle effect. The lack of energy, the brain fog. Yeah. I would walk into a grocery store, mind you, like I said, I have 4 children. They all needed something. I forgot why I was there. I was convinced that something, like I said, when I went to Mayo Clinic that last time, I said, you better test me for everything because I'm dying. And she just looked at me and she said, no, you need thyroid medication. You just need more. You just need more.
Yeah. More T4.
Yes.
More T4. Yeah.
More T4. Yes. In fact, I have plenty of it for anyone that needs
it. Yeah, exactly. Just throw it out. Your hairdresser actually noticed the difference.
Oh, I'm not afraid to show you. You can see this is all new. It's like fuzzy. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of fuzz in there.
Well, and it just appears thicker too. Like your skin is brighter, it's glowing, and it appears thicker.
Like this is all new hair growth. You can just see the baby fuzz.
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry. Again, I'm reversed on this computer. I probably look like an ogre, but this is baby fuzz. I mean, this is all through here. This is crazy. I was getting like receded. You can see where.
Yep.
And look at, this is like a monkey doll. Mm-hmm. Like it's just, I can't, when I'm blowing my hair dry, it's blowing everywhere.
But that's good. That baby fuzz right there is not breakage. It's actually new hair where that used to be a bald spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, and so, put that on top of, you feel terrible and you finally get yourself out of bed to brush your teeth. And you might go for a walk and you go to put your hair in a ponytail and it's falling out. Yeah. I was just signed up. I literally was thinking about how do I leave notes to my kids? Because that's how I felt.
That's horrible.
That's truly how I felt.
And the shame is that's you. This is you giving your personal story and how you felt. Mm-hmm. And I can say that I know of my patients, 10 in the last month said the same thing. Now multiply it. Because that's just you and me and our experience and my experience with patients. Now multiply it. That's millions of people needlessly feeling like they are dying, like they will never have the same life again that they experienced and had hoped for. And they can. Like that's a crime, basically. Yeah, it's a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, we decreased your T4, we increased your T3. Within a month, you were losing weight and hair feeling better. We're still on this journey, like you said. We're still playing with your dose because this is a journey. And I remember you told me in the very beginning, you're like, I'm in this for the long haul with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's necessary because I will say right now too, I lost a good bit of weight immediately. And something you and I just discussed, I'm kind of like at a plateau right now.
Yep.
But I will say, and anyone that's thinking about working with you, or if they're a patient and they thought maybe they were going to do short term and they're going to jump off the train now, all the different little supplements. It's not just my medicine. I won't give away your magic secrets. I'll let you talk about those. I will say one thing. I believe that the whole body collagen is a game changer.
Such a game changer.
I have people, and again, the way I look on this screen right now, I don't know how y'all feel, but I feel pretty good.
You look beautiful.
It looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
But my skin is glowing in person. I've had people ask me what skin treatments I've had. I'm like, I haven't had any skin treatments. Yeah. I feel like the white of my eyes is whiter. My hair is thicker. My nails, they're growing like exponentially. Like I would use a little file before, and now I probably need to clip them. Like, it's not just the T3 and the T4. I think it's the whole picture that when you find someone like yourself to work with, I think you have to be in it for the long haul to really be fair to yourself. It took me 5 years to get to where I am. It's certainly not going to take me 3 months to get out of it.
Exactly. And thank you for saying that, because some people do think, and while T3 and T4 or thyroid medicated, optimizing the thyroid is magical, you have to address every piece that can interfere with that. So if you are on T4 and T3, like you are, we have to look at all of those factors that can interfere with T4 to T3 conversion. So we have to make sure that we get your insulin down. You're not insulin resistant. You can't be walking around insulin resistant, fix your thyroid, and hope that you're going to lose weight, because the insulin resistance alone will put you in a fat storage mode. You have to have optimal ferritin levels, because without ferritin, that T4 isn't going to convert to T3 and your hair will be garbage. So there's so many other factors that come into play. It really is that whole package. And that's where I always say functional medicine addresses the root cause, and then we look at you as a whole person. So we're looking at all the pieces of the puzzle. We're not just going, oh, it's this, let's put you on a medication. No, that's no better than you walking into your doctor's office and being put on an antidepressant when it's your thyroid, or being put on a blood pressure medication when it's your thyroid.
I forgot that part. She did offer me antidepressants because I was stressed.
Sure, of
and
course.
I was like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So imagine that I could have left with 2 magic bottles of pills.
Yeah, exactly. And they would just mask the symptoms, but wouldn't have helped you lose weight, may have even caused weight gain, as antidepressants can do. So it's just, you sharing your story and people hearing it is just so imperative. It's important for all of us to share our stories. The Attuned Thyroid Group this month is having people post their journey before and after pictures. And so many have posted amazing pictures. That's why I want to look for my moon face, so you can all see that I was right there with you. It's important for people to know that there is hope. It's important for people to hear these stories so they go, oh, someone else is feeling like I do. Someone else experienced this too. Yeah, millions have the same story. That's when you first came to me, I'm like, you're not complex. This is not a Mayo Clinic. This isn't complex to me. Yeah. So I want to thank you for sharing your story with everyone.
That's the beauty of the Attuned Thyroid Group, which you're part of, that was part of how I found you as well. That was an eye-opener to me. I'm like, what is this reverse this and reverse that and all these tests? And I mean, here I am living with half a thyroid, just listening to, and it wasn't just one endocrinologist. It was multiple ones from 2001 to 2020. And, great facilities and great doctors. And I mean, how could they be wrong? And
yeah,
I'm so thankful. That's all I can say. I mean, and really now for me, whether or not I see dramatic weight loss continue, that's fine. I know it's a lifestyle change in my diet, and it's the energy for me. It's the hair growth for me. It's the fact that I feel like I'm going to be alive. Like, I just felt so bad.
Yeah, definitely. And all those little glimmers of hope, all those changes tell us that we're going in the right direction. And just like anybody, we need to change. Like we're at a point right now where we're changing your T3 dose again, because that's part of the working together. All right, well, now you were riding high and you're doing well. Now things are kind of slowing down. Let's take a look at what's going on. We might need an increase. We might need to change your T4. So that's part of just working as a team to figure it out. It really is. Yeah.
That's what I said. I don't, I think if anybody's being fair to themselves, it's not a short trip. I think like I said, it didn't take me 3 months to get to where I am. I now that I look back and I look at photographs and, things will pop up thanks to social media. 5 years ago today, I ran the Bridge of Lions 5K in a 9-minute mile. And now I couldn't even think about driving that. It's like, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, things change, but it reminds you of where you were and then how things have changed. And it was just getting progressively worse and worse and worse. And now I feel like I'm climbing back up again.
Yeah, no, you definitely are. You definitely are. And just really quickly about we mentioned the Attuned Thyroid. It is a Facebook group. And I apologize to the admins if you're like, no, we can't handle any more questions from people. But the Attuned Thyroid group on Facebook is by far just, amazing, amazing. And I'm not an admin, but the admins let me jump in with information because my biggest thing is educating and giving real scientific information. And ironically, it was right at the time. So they're about a year old now. They just celebrated their year anniversary. It was right at the time that I was looking at other Facebook groups and thinking, I don't even want to answer this question because people have posted such bad information that is non-scientific and opinion only and not based in science. And I can't even bring myself to answer this. And ironically, right at that time, the admins of the Attuned Thyroid have broken away, started Attune, and they're on it. You post something that's a multi-level marketing product or, something that you heard from your best friend's brother's girlfriend's uncle that heard it on Dr. Oz, it's going off. It's getting removed. You're getting shut down. And not in a mean way, but just they only want real, helpful, educational information on there. And that's why I promote it. I don't know if they want more members or not, but that's why I promote it. And the admins are on there giving all kinds of great information. So you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. I always say narrow your groups that you are on so you're not bombarded with bad information. Keep it narrowed down to the good ones to where you're going to. And there's a couple other good ones on Facebook too. There are. But I always tout the Attune because that's where, you found me and I just know a lot of the admins there that are just great. They're just great. The information, I'll go on to answer a question on there and Rory or Donna or Jessica Shelly have already jumped in and answered. And I go, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I would say. So that question's already answered in an educational, scientifically proven way that I cannot argue with. Like, okay, there we go. I want to thank Araan. Thank you for coming on. And I know that this gave people hope. This is giving people hope. If you're listening to this as a podcast, you can share this too on your Facebook page or on Instagram and just tell other people about it. Just get this information out that there is hope. Araan, do you have anything you want to say before we close out?
Just in wrapping up what you were saying, the reason that I took the time to do this, I don't like to be live on anything or photographed, but to be honest, I was so helpless and so sad and so depressed and didn't feel like myself. And it's turned around so quickly for me that I thought I've got to share this, that there's hope. You name the symptom, I had the symptom. And so I'm just thankful. I'm thankful to you, Amie. I'm thankful to the people I met on the group and the way I got to you. I love watching your shows and, interacting with people now that we get to see throughout different podcasts, and just don't lose hope.
Thank you so much for listening to the Thyroid Fix podcast. As always, please share this with anyone that you know that needs this information. And I guarantee you there's a lot of people out there and in your life who do. Also, please remember that anything that you hear on this podcast is not intended to diagnose or treat. So you always want to check with your doctor about any advice given that you hear on this podcast. And if you would like to book a discovery call, a free discovery call to go over everything that's going on with you and to go over how I can help you, please go to my website at amiehornaman.com. The link is always in the show notes. And click on book a call. Choose a time and a day that's right for you. And we will see how we can help you. Thanks for listening.